You're in a marriage where sex has become rare or non existent. You have been rejected by your wife more times than you can count, and it's obviously painful. This is never how you imagined that your marriage would end up. And while there are so many things that can lead to a lack of sex and intimacy in a marriage, there is one thing that a lot of men don't see as a contributing factor, and it's a factor you can actually do something about if it exists in your marriage. So, I am Lindsay. This is Living with Intention. Let's dive in so you can identify if this is a potential factor contributing to the state of sex and intimacy in your own marriage. So this video won't be for everyone, but for who it's for, I so hope it's helpful. I know that you have probably tried a lot of things over time in your marriage, being more romantic, doing more around the house, talking to her about sex, giving her space, and you are probably feeling frustrated and angry because nothing has changed, which makes so much sense because your desire for intimacy is so valid and can be such a beautiful part of a thriving marriage. Most men end up thinking that their wife is intentionally being manipulative or cruel, or that she just doesn't care about you at all anymore. And again, it makes so much sense that these thoughts would come up when sex and intimacy has become such an issue. And what if the reason actually has nothing to do with any of that? What if it's connected to something that happened years ago in your relationship, something that you both thought was maybe over and dealt with? The truth is, if you were unfaithful at any point in your relationship, even 30 years ago, the hurt could still be showing up in your marriage. When I say unfaithful, I'm talking physical, emotional, a betrayal of some sort. Unhealed betrayals can absolutely be a major invisible wall that is blocking her desire. If we think about it like this, if you broke your arm and say they weren't able to set it properly, you'd move through that situation. You would still carry on because you have to, but proper healing wouldn't take place and it would never function the same way again. The same is true for betrayal. A sorry isn't the same as real healing. Without 100% personal responsibility, remorse, empathy, rebuilding trust, working together to understand why it happened, investing in your marriage, and really learning to love with intention, it makes sense that her heart and body can't open up to you again. She might not even consciously realize that this is a block for her, if it is one. What can look like intentional punishment can truly be her body literally protecting her, her nervous system. So, of course, if neither of you recognize this piece, it makes sense that it's impossible to address. So, here is what so many couples do when there is a betrayal in their relationship. Maybe there's an apology, a few conversations, some tears, maybe even promises that it will never happen again, and then it gets buried and they just try to move on. Maybe she's tried bringing it up again, even years ago, and it would just end up turning into a fight, or it felt pointless to talk about it again. The real healing doesn't happen this way. Her nervous system remembers, the trust feels broken, and it isn't intentionally rebuilt. For so many women, sex and intimacy feels desirable and connecting after emotional safety is felt in their marriage. And if the healing hasn't been done around this, that safety, it's just not there. The safety to be vulnerable, to open up, to trust, not just in that moment, but in the marriage as a whole. The safety doesn't just happen with time passing after a betrayal. It really takes intention to create it. And I know that for the partner who was unfaithful, it feels like walking into a field of landmines to even open yourself up to that kind of healing work that it takes to repair this. That makes so much sense. There's often so much guilt and regret and shame buried under the surface. And it can truly feel like, like, how is talking about the very thing that hurt her so much going to actually help us? I will be totally honest, it is not an easy journey. I work with couples who come to me specifically to heal from infidelity, and also with couples who just want to have a better marriage. And through our work together, they end up sharing that there was infidelity in the past. When it's brought up, it's usually pretty clear that there's still a charge around it. So I share the healing from infidelity framework that I use in my love journey process, and I ask them if they both feel like those areas were addressed, like responsibility, remorse, empathy, understanding, trust rebuilding, commitment to the marriage, loving with intention. They say no. Often none of those areas were addressed. And I mean like deeply addressed. It makes so much sense that there would still be charge there and impact there if the true healing work hasn't been done. And of course, we don't know what it takes to heal from a betrayal until we learn, until we know. We don't know that it takes all of these steps and more than just a couple of conversations to truly heal and the impact that it has. And I know it can be hard to hear that it takes this much intention. If you are still watching, I'm guessing there has been some sort of betrayal in the past. That can feel like a huge impossible bridge to cross, especially if it's been a long time. This video, though, felt really, really important to make. Imagine that was the thing that carried the most weight for your wife, whether she realizes it or not. Imagine that is the thing that has most affected her desire for sex and intimacy all this time. It's like a roadblock between the marriage that you would both love to have. And of course, if you have been unfaithful at some point and you're thinking about all of this, I just want to be clear that I'm not saying your wife is perfect and that she hasn't done things to hurt you too. I'm literally just looking at this one piece as a place that you can reflect on and get curious about. When we take personal responsibility, even if it's just in our own heads to start and not out loud to our partner yet, it does not mean we're saying, I did XYZ, so that means everything you've done is completely acceptable and okay. It just means I'm looking at my role. She has her stuff, this is mine. And when sex and intimacy has been an issue, and you may have these reasons in your head about why your wife doesn't want it. So again, like maybe she's being cruel or she's just manipulative or it was all a big ploy and she switched right when you got married. And you get to reflect and look at yourself and realize, oh, maybe something that I did has actually impacted this. And if you are still watching, but you haven't been unfaithful, there are a lot of other things that contribute to desire discrepancy in relationships. This video is just about infidelity. I'll link a video at the end for other potential reasons. And if this video did resonate with you, just bringing in so much love and compassion to your heart and to her heart. I do have to say that it does often take outside support to do the healing work, to create a safe space, to start having conversations, the kinds of conversations that are healing as opposed to more damaging. Support to even bring this up to see if it is indeed a roadblock. So your intentional action this week is just to reflect with so much love on past infidelity and ask yourself if that deep repair has happened. Just start there for now. And I am sending so much love into your day. You can check out the video on the screen where I explore many other possible things that may be impacting her level of desire. Thank you so much for being here. Remember that nothing changes if nothing changes. So let's have a super intentional week. Bye.